are one what's coming to me, or what's coming to the world.
I told everybody, you fucking scumbag. He's a fucking bum. He's a fucking bum. My son could beat anybody when he boxes, bro. Ain't nobody could beat him when he boxes, cause that's what we do, we box. We don't need no fucking tune-up, bro. This motherfucker fucked up Ugas and Short Porter in sparring at 17. He's a master at boxing. When this motherfucker boxes, nobody could beat him. We fight Josh Taylor, we outbox the shit out of him, we win. And what the people gonna do? They gonna shut the fuck up, I'll be trainer of the year again. Fuck, get the fuck out of here, Eddie Nosa, bro. A fucking banger, bro. Eddie Nosa's a banger fucking trainer, bro. All that nigga knows is just throw left hooks and upper right hands. I'm trainer of the year, motherfucker. I don't give a fuck, cause we here to take care of anybody that's around, bro. You think, bro, my son was undisputed world champion of the world. You think we're gonna choose and pick who the fuck we fighting next? Are you crazy? Bro, in the history of boxing, he's the only boxer in the world to become undisputed in 60 fights. They could get away with it, bro. There's no way that dude won, bro. No fucking way! All y'all motherfuckers sound like fucking bitches, bro. All y'all motherfuckers sound like fucking bitches, bro. Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney. Oh, this fucking, get the fuck out of here with those fucking pussies, bro. Fight our leftovers, bro. Fight Nakatani. Fight Lomachenko, bro. Come on. Show us something, bro. That's how it was back in the days with Sugar Ray Leonard, Mike Tyson, and everybody, man. Why are you trying to over here and try to bullshit that shit? You a social media dude, bro. I told everybody, you fucking scumbag. Scumbag, 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 scumbag.
First and foremost, I want to say thank you to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. If it wasn't for him, this wouldn't be possible. Low Nose Boxing. With that being said, hit the like button, share this video, subscribe to my channel. And what we're going to talk about right now is, you see that right there? See who that is? That's Terence Bud Crawford. Terence Bud Crawford, the #1 fighter in boxing pound for pound. Terence Bud Crawford recently had an interview on The Breakfast Club, and on that interview, Terence Bud Crawford was asked about 2 specific potential future fighters. They asked Terence Crawford, would he entertain a fight with Saul Canelo Alvarez? Terence Crawford said that he would fight Canelo Alvarez if they could meet at a reasonable catch weight, anywhere between 158, I think it was 155 to 160. And he was also asked if he would entertain the opportunity to fight Gervonta Tank Davis. Terence Bud Crawford did say that he would fight Gervonta Tank Davis if it's at 147 pounds. Which I'm gonna get to my gimmick in a minute. You know my gimmick, I always gotta talk about the past as well. We gotta bring the past, the present, the future. That's my gimmick, that's Low Nose Boxing. The past, the present, the future, the history of boxing, because there's nothing new under the sun and history repeats itself. First, we're gonna talk about Terence Crawford and Gervonta Tank Davis. Terence Crawford and Gervonta Tank Davis. Right now, we're at a point of boxing where there's a lot of fantasy matchups being speculated. People are talking about Inoue Inoue possibly moving up and fighting Gervonta Tank Davis. People are talking about Gervonta Tank Davis moving up and potentially facing Terence Bud Crawford. People are talking about Terence Bud Crawford moving up and potentially facing off against Saul Canelo Alvarez. there's nothing new under the sun. We've seen this before in the past. If Gervonta Tank Davis and Terence Crawford were to fight, this would not be the first time that a lightweight jumped up to welterweight to challenge the man, the top dog at 147 pounds. In the past, we've seen that. Sugar Shane Mosley jumped up and faced Oscar De La Hoya. Roberto Duran jumped up and faced Sugar Ray Leonard. Kell Brook jumped up from welterweight to challenge Triple G. Amir Khan jumped up from welterweight to challenge Canelo Alvarez. Roberto Duran jumped up to challenge Marvin Hagler. Sugar Ray Leonard jumped up to challenge Marvin Hagler. Tommy Hearns jumped up to challenge Marvin Hagler. You see where I'm going? So there's a lot of people out there that feel that Terence Crawford and Gervonta Davis would be a mismatch. Now, if that fight were to happen, I would pick Terence Bud Crawford to win that fight. However, Gervonta Davis does have a very good shot at winning that fight. Styles make fights. And personally, I think Gervonta Davis would actually present a more difficult task than Errol Spence was able to, because Gervonta Tank Davis has a certain style. He has a better boxing pedigree than Errol Spence Jr., who's also an incredible fighter. Shout out to the Warrior, Errol Spence Jr. I could see Gervonta Davis posing similar issues to Terence Crawford, which Yuriorkis Gamboa was able to with his speed and his athleticism. But I think that Gervonta Tank Davis poses more problems. He's more explosive than Yuriorkis Gamboa. But at the end of the day, I got Terence Crawford by stoppage if that fight were to happen. Terence Bud Crawford's been in the shadows for a long time. He hasn't been receiving the recognition that bigger stars in terms of name have received. So, being that Terence Crawford stated that he's not going to be around for too much longer, a fight with Gervonta Davis is something that, in my opinion, would help out his legacy. Because Terence Crawford said that a win over Gervonta Davis, people would probably criticize and say that he was too small. But Aaron Pryor, and pardon me, I'm a little sweaty right now because I was just doing 50 push-ups. And I turned the AC off because I don't want no noise in the background. But like I said before, Aaron Pryor got all the credit in the world for defeating Alexis Arguello. So Terence Crawford, if he were to fight and beat Gervonta Davis, should get all the credit in the world if that were to happen. However, Gervonta Davis, unlike Alexis Arguello, unlike Roberto Duran, those guys that moved up to face their challengers, Gervonta Davis is yet to face and beat the top dogs around 135 and 140. Guys like Devin Haney, Lomachenko, Shakur Stevenson, Teofimo Lopez. Gervonta Davis hasn't handled that yet. And a fight against Terence Crawford could be detrimental because Terence Crawford has a certain effect on fighters. When he beats them, they're no longer the same. So why risk that fight and then lose and then go back down to your weight class and you're no longer the same fighter? But nevertheless, that's a tremendous payday for both of them. The next fight, Saul Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Bud Crawford. Once again, there's nothing new under the sun. If Terence Bud Crawford were to move up and face Canelo Alvarez at 160 pounds, in my opinion, if Terence Crawford were to defeat Canelo Alvarez, that win would probably look better than Floyd Mayweather's win over Canelo Alvarez. Because when Floyd Mayweather defeated Canelo Alvarez, the skeptics were saying that Canelo was young, inexperienced, green, right? Terence Crawford would be fighting the Canelo Alvarez that finally turned into the legend that he is right now. However, Canelo Alvarez is also sort of on a downslide. Canelo Alvarez went all the way up from 175 pounds and went back down to 168. So if he were to go back to 160 and face Terence Crawford and lose, the critics would say that Canelo Alvarez was probably weight drained. But once again, that's a fight I would love to see. Who would win that fight? That one is sort of a pick'em. That's how high I have Terence Bud Crawford in terms of respect for his skill set. Terence Bud Crawford is a special fighter. Terence Bud Crawford epitomizes the four kings all in one. He has a few things in common with each and every one of those guys. Roberto Duran, for instance. Terence Bud Crawford won his first world title at 135 pounds, just like Roberto Duran did, right? Terence Bud Crawford eventually went to welterweight and defeated the top dog, the biggest name at 147, an Olympian, in Errol Spence Jr. Just like Roberto Duran moved up to 147 and defeated Sugar Ray Leonard, right? So he has some Roberto Duran in him. When it comes to Sugar Ray Leonard, just like Sugar Ray Leonard, during the Four Kings era, especially when the guys like Leonard, Hearns, and Duran, before they even moved up to 160 and faced Marvin Hagler, Sugar Ray Leonard got a chance to defeat all of them. Sugar Ray Leonard was the top king out of all the Four Kings. And Terence Crawford, at one point, there was like a little Four King situation at 147 between Terence Crawford, Keith Thurman, Errol Spence, Sean Porter, even Danny Garcia. Even though Terence Crawford never fought Keith Thurman or Danny Garcia, he did soundly defeat Errol Spence and Sean Porter. Terence Crawford, beyond a shadow of a doubt, turned out to be the cream of the crop of that 147-pound era, just like Sugar Ray Leonard did during his era at 147, right? So he had something in common with Ray Leonard. He had something in common with Roberto Duran. When we think about Tommy Hitman Hearns, Thomas Hearns was a tall, lanky fighter. Terence Crawford is not as tall as Thomas Hearns, but he has similar attributes. He has very long reach. He got power. He knows how to kick. He knows how to keep you at the end of that stick, like Tommy Hearns. And when he fought Errol Spence, he was doing some things in that ring that I only seen Ray Leonard, Tommy Hearns, and Roberto Duran did. That's why Terence Crawford is head and shoulders ahead of the competition in his generation, because he has the old school attributes, right? And the fighter that he has the most in common with in the Four Kings is Marvelous Marvin Hagler. Just like Marvelous Marvin Hagler, Terence Crawford was the least popular, right? Marvin Hagler was the least popular out of his bunch, just like Terence Crawford was before he defeated Errol Spence. Marvin Hagler was a man of few words, but very mean inside that ring. Straight killer instinct, just like Terence Crawford. Marvelous Marvin Hagler was a switch hitter, just like Terence Crawford, but the other way around. Marvelous Marvin Hagler was a southpaw who would switch up and get into the conventional stance, right, to throw you off. Terence Crawford is a conventional stance fighter who turns southpaw to throw you off whenever he feels like it's necessary. And now Terence Crawford is getting his just due. Terence Crawford epitomizes the Four Kings of boxing. A lot of people say that he needs to surpass Floyd Mayweather's record to become, I wouldn't say the greatest of all time, because Sugar Ray Leonard is, but to surpass Floyd Mayweather, they feel that he needs to surpass 50-0. I don't think Terence Crawford needs to win that many fights to surpass Floyd Mayweather. I'll give him a few big wins, but that's another video. Nevertheless, it was a pleasure talking boxing with you. 2023 is turning out to be an incredible year. So with that being said, hit the like button, share this video, subscribe to my channel, Low Nose Boxing, because Low Nose Boxing, I'm out.